Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another Michigan Military Technical and Historical Society vehicle restoration video. We're continuing tearing into the rear axle on our Model T, and I thought I'd do a little short video here before I closed up for the night. You can see I got the differential broke down. You can see the carrier here with the spider gears, which are actually not in too bad of condition. They're not a whole lot of, they don't seem to have any weird wear on them, which is unusual. For those of you who saw our torque tube video, you'll remember this is our rear bearing sleeve for the back of the drive shaft, and then we also had the bearing that completely disintegrated over here. And we were wondering where the pieces of this might have gone, and we were thinking they may have gone in here, but it does not look like they did. But there are also signs that someone was in this rear end. This really bad lacing job on the ring gear is kind of a giveaway, and that there's very clean fluid in here. So I think somebody drained it and cleaned it and may have removed the shrapnel, because there's no evidence, and there should be something when you have this much damage here. So I don't know what's happening. I don't know where it went. But it's not here. But I did want to show you our ring gear has definitely been hammered. And I don't know, you Model T guys out there, you can respond. Is this normal? Because, like I said, I have a spare rear axle which I tore down. We'll go over and look at that in a second. And but it's hammered the same way. So I'm wondering were these ring gears not fully hardened, and this is just normal. But I mean, if I saw this on a modern car, I would freak out, and this just doesn't look very happy. And there's definitely some weird wear patterns in there. You can kind of see it. So I'm thinking that is where our debris went from that bushing, and it got in here. But somebody has been in here before and tried to clean it up, because there's no shiny metal glitter in the what was left of the oil. There's no chunks of steel. There's no nothing. So I have a feeling somebody got in here. Take a closer look here now that it's apart. There's our two axle shaft, and you can see what we were talking about in the last video, that this axle shaft has got some substantial wear in the bearing area. So that's one of the reasons why I blew the other rear axle that we have apart, and we're going to go for a little walk here. I'm shooting this on my phone, and it does not allow me to pause. I need to break down one of these days and buy an actual camera, but you know, that's one future project. So you can kind of see here, we do have this extra rear end, and this is not nearly as bad. It's got a little ridge here, but not quite as bad as the other one. So I think we're gonna go ahead and pull one of these axles. But this is what I'm used to seeing when I take apart, you know, a 100-year-old or 50-year-old or 80-year-old. This is just the most disgusting chocolate pudding that we can see where it's glopping down in the drain pan. It doesn't even run. It is just, it's thick and nasty. But you can also see the difference here. This differential has lacing wires on this side, which the other differential did not have. And you can see that the lacing on this one is much tighter and much neater, and also done correctly. You can see for those of you can see that it's actually laced the right way, as opposed to whatever that other axle was going on with, which was not laced the right way. But I started to clean this off, and you can kind of see the same thing. There's that ridge. So I'm wondering if, this is my first Model T, so you Model T guys, let me know. Is that normal for these to have that ring gear, have that weird? But this, if you can't really see it because this is still quite dirty. But if you run your fingers in here, this is smooth. It doesn't have all that galling that the other ring gear has. So I am thinking that was the result of that bushing coming apart that totally ate that bearing, that got in there and chewed up the ring gear. What's interesting though is that the pinion gear does not show that same kind of wear, which has me which also makes me think possibly that somebody was swapping parts around in there before. But if they would have changed the pinion gear, why wouldn't they have changed out that rear bearing and that rear bushing? So I don't know. I don't know what the story is. You know, this Model T was languishing in a farmer's field, and so I don't know its backstory, but clearly it had a catastrophic failure of the drive shaft, and that is most likely why it was parked. But it does appear that somebody at some point tried to fix it. So maybe they put a whole different rear end on it, but I don't know. So I'm speculating and just babbling at this point. But you can see, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to blow this differential apart. We're going to salvage one of these, one or both of these. We'll get the mic out and we'll measure these. We'll find out which axles have the least amount of wear. We will look at all of these bearings and see which ones look the happiest, and we will build ourselves one good rear axle. Unfortunately, these are the later, so like the 1926-27 rear axles, so they are set up for the larger brakes. So that does not help me with the, as we saw in the last video that I did, where that brake cam had eaten into the axle housing. So unfortunately, I cannot use this axle for the 1923 and down brakes that I want to use. So I either need to weld and repair that axle or find another half of an axle somewhere. Given the number of Model Ts that were built in 1923 and down, it should not be too hard to find an axle half somewhere. But we also have the technology. We can weld it, grind it, remachine it, and fix it. So take one last look here at this wondrous stuff that is oozing out of this differential. Kind of curious what these spider gears are going to look like. But so that's our Model T rear end. And so once again, check us out, mimths.org. And if you want to help us with any of these projects, hop on your friendly neighborhood PayPal, mimths@mimths.org. Put in the notes that you want it to go toward the vehicle restoration stuff, and help us turn this into an actual vehicle. So with that, I'm out. You all have a good day.